Jake, thank goodness. Our Yankees win 5-4 over the Jays. We've finally done it. I don't want to gloss over what just happened. The Yankees just, for whatever reason, could not beat this team. And this is a good Blue Jays team. They just are. But I think a lot of Yankees fans feel like we should be taking care of this team. We just weren't. So let's be happy for what just happened. These are must-win games. Obviously, Cam Schlittler goes 5 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs. This is quality. This is good, right? 3 walks. Obviously, he was walking guys at the bottom of the order. And I did mention it, Jake, he was going to struggle to strike guys out. That's just the Blue Jays just refuse to strike out. Just 3 Ks today. And Bo Bichette was one of those Ks. So, we'll answer if he's the answer. That's the prompt. If he's going to solve any problems for the Yankees in their rotation, because they somewhat do have that, right? Obviously, you see what's going on at the back of the rotation. Maybe he can be a solution there. Jazz Chisholm hits a 3-run jack. It was early on. It didn't feel like it was going to be the big. I guess it felt like it was going to be the biggest hit of the game, and it ended up just not being, because none other than Ben Rice with the biggest hit of the night off of Jeff Hoffman, right? Earned himself a nice, according to Aaron Boone, I'm sure, a day off tomorrow, right? And by the way, guys, we did just interview John Morosi, and we asked him all types of questions. We asked him about Eugenio Suarez. We asked him about bullpen pieces. We asked him about Anthony Volpe, and we got more answers than I think you guys would expect. We're going to be releasing that interview tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So be sure to subscribe to Yankees Unloaded. We are giving away a jersey at 10,000 subscribers. We're roughly 2,000 away. I just wanted to thank you guys. So, Jake, let's start with Cam Schlittler. Obviously, this is a guy that you hate to take away the conversation, right? Of course, from the game-winning home run. But Cam Schlittler was huge today. This is a guy that's coming out of our system. He's a flamethrower. He's got all the stuff you could ever want, right? He still is a little timid with his fastball. He throws a lot of sliders first pitch, which is an interesting choice. But one could argue the Blue Jays do swing first pitch a lot, right? Guys like Springer. What did you think about this outing? Because I don't want to answer just yet what I think as far as this rotation and what he means.
Yeah, I thought he was kind of all out of whack. He, really was having a hard time finding the strike zone, but I think that was what made it really impressive, because you saw him put himself in these really tough positions to dig yourself out of, even if you're Carlos Rodon, as we saw the other day. And this is a rookie making his second start, and he's able to get out of the inning, with that bases loaded pop-up. I mean, those are the things that I'm looking for. I think you don't want to get too much into the nitty-gritty when you're looking at rookies, but you also don't want to make it too bare bones where it's like he struck out a lot of guys getting struck out equals good. Like, no, there's more to it than that, right? And I felt like tonight, actually, in a little bit of a different way, was more impressive than his debut. His debut, he struck out 7, probably could have kept going, only pitched 75 pitches. This one, he pitched 90. Shout out to Aaron Boone for extending him a little bit longer, allowing him to finish that inning. This is a quality start. 7 hits is not terrible. I can live with 7 hits, especially if you're only giving up 2 earned runs. You're giving your team a chance to win this ball game. And I thought Schlittler, he was really solid. I wouldn't say he was like really good. I wouldn't say he was great, but he's really solid today, because I just don't feel like he had his best stuff, and yet he was still able to overcome that, and he was still missing plenty of bats, including the fact that he was actually ahead of Max Scherzer tonight in swing and misses. And say what you will, Scherzer's one of the best guys at that. I don't care how old he is, he can still miss bats. I think we're seeing some really good things from Cam Schlittler. He had 4 of the fastest velos today, ahead of only Jonathan Loaizaga. Loaizaga threw a 99-mile-an-hour fastball today, which
unfortunately we'll discuss Johnny Lowe. We will. But Cam has the velo. He has the fact, like, his fastball, Gary, and this is how I'll end this kind of thought. His fastball works. And I think that was kind of like the question mark. Is his fastball enough? Is it good enough to settle down big-time hitters? And I think he's answered the bell in 2 starts. His fastball is good enough. I'm excited about his slider. I'm excited about his other pitches to come together. He was trying to use that curveball, kind of floated it up there. Not really a pitch that I think you can really count on yet, but
There's a lot of potential here. I'm not backing off what I said. I think this is a number 2 in the rotation if everything pans out.
Yeah, and this is a number 2 down the road. And this is very similar situation of what we see from other guys, right? And Will Warren. Will Warren is this is a work in progress. And in comparison, if Will Warren of 2024, right, and who he was as a player, was pitching today, we would just say he's horrible. He's just downright horrible. People can say what they want about the minor leagues. He wasn't getting minor league guys out. And yet we called him up here for a reason. They liked the stuff. They liked what he was developing, and they talked about that in spring training. And now as it goes to Cam Schlittler, the stuff clearly plays. That's ace-like quality stuff. You really can't be an ace for the most part. Obviously, there are outliers out there with incredible spin, incredible location, secondary pitches. But more times than not, guys at the top of your rotation, they're 100. They just do. There's a reason you sort of look up at the screen, you think you're looking at Garrett Cole. And I swear to you, it's like a spitting image. Now, of course, Garrett Cole in Pittsburgh was also giving up a ton of runs. His ERA was hovering in the mid-4s, and people always wondered, why is he not missing bats the way we need him to, right? And is this Garrett Cole? Absolutely not. But guys can learn, right? You're not a finished product when you get here. You may look a certain way, and then you fast forward 2 years, and a guy can polish a slider. Garrett Cole made a decision, I'm going to go away from the loopy breaking ball. I'm going to go to a more of a power slider. I'm going to throw it as hard as I can. These are ways that the game can change. But for Cam Schlittler, to answer the question of the prompt, is he an answer? I'm going to say no, and I'll tell you why. He's, as we said, he's not finished. We can see the secondary pitches are just not, they're just not there right now. I think the fastball right now is ready, I will say. Is the location perfect? No. But given the situation that he's going to find himself in, he just needs to be quality. He was today, but he got away with a lot of breaking balls that in some big games, maybe you're not going to get away with them. So am I going to overly criticize him? Absolutely not. I think Cam Schlittler's probably a player I want to keep in this organization. I think there's going to be big things, probably better than what people are expecting out of him. But when you throw somebody when they're not necessarily done in the oven and you're just like, hey, enter into a pennant race, that's tough to do.
We finally got some savant numbers here. Obviously, take this with a grain of salt. They're half baked, maybe even less than whatever that is. But you see here, this is Cam Schlittler in a nutshell. Okay, he is somebody that is going to strike out a lot of guys right now. His fastball velo is among the best, and he's got red here. But for him to be counted on, and I think, Gary, what we're getting at is that, has he solved the problem? Well, right now, I guess he has, because he's good enough to give you a quality start.
He's Flex Seal right now.
Yeah, but the problem is very simple, okay? The problem is they have a 1 and a 2 on, game 1, game 2 of the World Series. Who's game 3? We don't know. We have no idea. Clark Schmidt would have been game 3. Clark Schmidt is no longer.
It's probably Luis Heel if he recovers the way we want him to,
or Stroman.
Right. So the answer is absolutely no.
Yeah,
he
no.
He has the skill set clearly to be an answer in the postseason.
It is Heel,
mind
I
you.
would say.
Yeah, it's Heel.
You can't trust Warren. He has too many of those blow up starts. If you've had 3, that's too many.
Yeah, and Heel, by the way, is going to be healthy in time with enough runway where you can say he's going to be able to go out there and we're going to figure out what we have before the postseason ever starts. But if Heel doesn't return to form, it's an open tryout where there were people in our comments saying, guys, it's not a finished product in this rotation, right? We may have gotten quality results up until this point, but like you said, Jake, it's Rodon, it's Fried, probably in reverse order. And from there, you can't really throw the ball to anybody and trust what you're getting. Cam Schlittler is probably someone you trust in a year or two, just not right this second. So I'm very happy for the kid. He showed a ton of grit, and you have to show that. We were just asking for Carlos Rodon to pitch better in big games. Well, what about Cam Schlittler, a rookie with no experience whatsoever, and he shows up in a series in Toronto, frankly, A, that we had to win, and B, it's a negative vibe around the Yankees right now. You were just talking about how much energy the Blue Jays seem to have, right? Everything seems to be bouncing their way. Well, imagine being a rookie. You're trying to earn your spot. The clubhouse there's somewhat of a cloud around it. Volpe's being criticized. Your third base room is being criticized. The relievers are being criticized. There's not greatness in that bullpen behind you. All pressure's on you to be good today. And he was good.
Not quite the red carpet.
Exactly. So this is obviously great news for the Yankees. But I will say we probably need a starting pitcher at the deadline. It feels like we need 3 or 4 things, but obviously in the morning you guys will hear exactly how busy the Yankees are getting on that front.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say, because I do want to talk about some of the stuff Jack Curry was saying. Because I'm curious. Anytime Jack talks, I'm like, my ears perk up. I'm like, interesting. Jack Curry on Eugenio Suarez, quote, I know the Yankees have not had substantive conversations with the Diamondbacks. Going forward, we'll see if that does occur. And end quote. That was interesting. And then he also basically said what we all know. There are guys essentially being linked to the Yankees that they haven't even talked to. So, I mean, that is just how things work. That is the game. A lot of people seem to believe Mitch Keller might be that guy that is just getting connected to them, and they're like, we didn't even talk to them about Mitch Keller.
Do you think maybe he said this? And mind you, I assume we're not.
Maybe
I would assume you would make the assumption getting Suarez, any team could say we're probably not going to get Suarez. That's the most likely scenario for any team, for Seattle, for us, anybody. But at the same time, could Jack have maybe been saying, hey, and mind you, we just talked to John Morosi, and he used words like desperation. That was his word choice. Now, when you say, the Yankees are not deep in conversations at all with Suarez, they're not banging down the door. If an offer comes to them that they like, then we'll pull the trigger on it. Is it a way maybe to kind of shift the power dynamic here on this trade front, or what do you think's happening?
Well, yeah, and also, Gary, I think we get way too caught up in, they're getting closer, they're inching closer. The way trades work, regardless of sport, is they come together quickly. They do, especially during the deadline. How do you think those deadline deals go? Think about it. It is essentially no different than going to an auction. You start to realize you get FOMO, right? And you're like, oh, crap. I want that $2,000 painting, right? And you start to realize that dude is trying to outbid me. It's like, well, he just made this personal. I'm gonna put all my chips on the table, and that's what you end up having, and that is why teams, because my little kid brain could never understand when I was younger why they waited. It's like, oh yeah, because I always love to hear. It sounds funny, but you understand why it's the case. But it always sounds funny. The post-trade deadline on MLB Network, when they're like, they just ran out of time. It's like, you had all year.
Oh, God. They ran out of time. No, really what it means is your best offer wasn't on the table until the very last second, and then now someone pulls the trigger. To your point, this whole thing with Suarez, Yankees fans are saying, we're never going to send you Jones, right? We're not going to send you George Lombard Jr. We don't want to send you Ben Hess, whoever it is. Well, I hate to break it to everyone, but at the very last second, the Arizona Diamondbacks are going to receive an offer, or the Diamondbacks are going to call a team and say, hold on a second. We're going to lose this player. We're going to get a compensatory pick for him, and that's it this offseason. We have no aspirations to bring him back, or it's unlikely. Here's what we'll accept from you, and it may be something less than what you were anticipating. And all of a sudden, in the final hour, someone's receiving Eugenio Suarez, and they never anticipated that they were. So maybe that's the Yankees. Maybe that's what Jack Curry's saying.
I have a trade for you.
I would assume Jack Curry is maybe just reporting news, which is that maybe there just haven't been talks. What do you have for me?
You know what is the best example of what you just said? Isaac Paredes. When the hell did he get connected to the Cubs? When
I saw the Chicago Cubs were the team, I sat there. Actually what hit my mind right away was, these reporters just don't even know what they're talking about.
That's what I said.
I
was like, what?
We heard, I think 4 or 5 actual other teams. There were definitely other teams involved. So we're not saying that only the Yankees were in there, and we're saying, how did the Yankees not get him? No, nice, Jake. No, we're telling you this was one of the teams. They kind of glossed over the Chicago Cubs. They're like, the Cubs are calling. And then all of a sudden, they're the team with the winning offer. They're the team that put together the best package. That's shocking to me. So maybe that could be what's happening here. Eugenio Suarez can probably be had. Guys, let's be real. You're talking about a player, I believe he's 33 or 34 years old. You're talking about a guy who's having a career year. You can absolutely say teams are buying high on Suarez. He's never played this type of baseball, ever, in his life, right? Chase Field is a hitter's park, all types of stuff. Obviously, you can argue Yankee Stadium, same deal, I guess, to some degree. But I don't know. I'm looking at this thing. He's 33. Yeah, thank you, Tyler. When you look at this, maybe this can bounce our direction. Maybe the Yankees can acquire a player that we'd be happy with. And I'll tell you what, maybe for less than what we think. Maybe. Because I'll tell you what, there are some trades you see, and then you turn around and, Jake, what do we always say? What does our audience say?
Why didn't we do that?
Why didn't we just beat that package? I don't know. I don't have an answer for you.
Because I don't work in there.
Right. So we start to learn how these things go. I want to get to some super chats here.
You're dead on with that.
And Vog with the $5. This is interesting.
Appreciate you, Vog.
I don't know how this happened, but $5.55 super chat. Vog, thank you for getting involved in Yankees Unloaded. Greatly appreciated. He says Friday is Volpe bobblehead night. Jake, I think we should rush to the stadium and get those.
I know where I'm not going to be on Friday night.
He said something tells me a lot of them are going to be launched onto the field or worse. Love this show. Thank you. So, Vog, thank you for being here. Of course, investing in Yankees Unloaded. You, of course, don't have to do that here at YouTube. But when you do, it obviously supports what we do and makes this a genuine company. Like, that's what we are. And obviously, we have a ton of aspirations. I know Jake and we waste a lot of money on cameras and equipment. And obviously, you guys help us do that. So thank you for that. I'll make sure I avoid. I'm going to get a restraining order on Yankee Stadium for whatever on Friday. I will make sure I'm not there.
Yeah.
So that's a good bit of information. And Kyle, who's a mod of ours, thank you, Kyle, for getting involved. Thank you for the 2. Says, hope Judge is okay. He was wincing after the catch. So the play he's talking about, there was a fly ball somewhat to the wall down the line, and there was no contact at the time. I'm actually not sure what caused it. Jake, if you have any information on that, I'm not sure. But he was clearly wincing. And also, we'll kind of backtrack here to Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger was also limping into second base on a double off of Max Scherzer. So not great to see that. I would hope everything's okay. Obviously, the Yankees are in a must-win situation. I would assume he's going to play tomorrow. But we've seen crazier things. What did you see with Aaron Judge? Do you know anything?
No, I don't know anything at all. No, I'm kidding. But I don't know anything in regards to that. I saw it, but I didn't really understand it. It must have been, I don't know. It just looked like a routine play. So, I mean, it could have been something, like that or whatever, but I don't know. I will say, by the way, you brought up Cody Bellinger, and I just don't think people are giving him enough credit. I just don't. I don't. Cody Bellinger, because I actually had calculated it, is now hitting, if you took away April, which, by the way, I think it's fair to say take away April because it's the only month he struggled in. And he was dealing with a back injury the entire month. So if you did that, he has a 304 average, a 904 OPS, 16 homers, 45 RBIs. Is that guy worth the money? Should they pay him?
How much would you say? What would you, because mind you, he has just for clarification here, so people understand the full scope of what we're looking at. We're looking at a player who's represented by none other than Scott Boras, right? The most aggressive agent in the game, the history of the sport. You now have a player who never received that long-term contract because he didn't have crazy exit velo. Teams were worried about the shoulder in LA. Obviously, the Dodgers let him go over it.
Yeah.
And when you're talking and you put all these things together, it leads you to 2 or 3 year contracts where teams say, I'll buy the now, but I don't want to buy the future. I don't think this is going to age the way I want it to. Very similar to the way we see Giancarlo Stanton, whose velocity is somewhat carrying his value. Even at this stage of his career, he still can maintain some level of value. Teams were worried about that with Cody Bellinger. So Cody Bellinger found himself on a 3-year deal with a ton of options in his contract. Highly paid because of what happened in the past. He obviously won an MVP. And He has a player option for 2026 for $25 million. Cody Bellinger's not taking that.
No.
If he continues playing the way he's playing, he's not worth a 1 year, $25 million contract. He's worth much more. He's worth security.
Completely.
And I'm looking at this player, and I did see a lot of Yankees fans saying, hold on, let's pump the brakes because it could turn into a lemon. Well, so can any contract in baseball history. When you pay somebody, you run the risk of them a couple years down the road not giving you the output that you're getting in the now. So I think Cody Bellinger's shown he's the most valuable player on this team by far in close games. If you watch the Yankees and you're being serious about this team, if the Yankees are in a clutch situation and they're in the field, they have to make a play. Who the hell do you want the ball hit to? You tell me. If it's not Cody Bellinger, you're not watching. Cody Bellinger is the perfect player for what the Yankees needed after having walked off the field embarrassed in the World Series. Cody Bellinger answered a ton of question marks that we had. We need more players like Cody. So, Jake, last thing I'll say, Cody Bellinger has put himself in a situation, a unique situation. He's outperforming his contract, which is great. Any player wants to do that. But he's also outperforming that contract on a team that desperately needs more talent like him, who does the little things, who makes all the defensive plays, who makes the right decisions of throws, who can go the other way, doesn't always have to hit a home run to be successful. Cody Bellinger is deserving, probably, of a contract this offseason north of $100 million. Whether people are comfortable in that territory or not, he's deserving.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if it's another 3-year deal or whatnot, but what I will tell you is I think a really good basis on what this could be is Alex Bregman's 3-year, $120 million deal. And it's the same, we know, it's the same agent. But if you look, Gary, because I actually had this queued up beforehand, I am going to share this. So
yeah, pop it up.
So Alex Bregman and Cody Bellinger, I think, are very similar in terms of they're both defensive guys, but they also can hit. Look at these stats. I think it's very close here. All right. So this is from 2023 to now, and there's so much dead space. I hate it. Can we move that? There we go. Let's see.
We can move it. Brilliant.
Let's go. All right.
No. See, guys, you can't just be a podcaster. You also have to be a part-time nerd and be able to just haggle with all this stuff.
So, I mean, I think that's pretty close.
So the baseline here is they're both really good defenders. It's the reason Boston brought him in. And it's the same deal with Cody Bellinger. So, I mean, I love this. So Cody is a defensive player first. I think we can get that out the way. He's a glove first. He just is. You can't even, how would you describe his offensive game? Really? Would you say he's a power hitter? I wouldn't.
No.
Would you say he's a contact hitter?
He and Bregman are very similar.
Very similar. Yeah, this is a nice comp.
Yeah. Now just imagine if they both run the Yankees. All right, I'm done talking. But you get my point though. I feel like if people, because I'm sure people are tired of hearing pay the man and, oh, yeah, like we've been talking about contracts. So I thought, you know what? Let's bring something to the table here. I think this is a good comp. And I think this is a contract we could be looking at. Now, I don't know if the Yankees decide, look, like, you know, is Bellinger even 30 yet? I don't even think he's 30.
He just turned 30, I believe.
He just turned 30. Okay.
Yeah.
I believe Bregman's 31. So
I'm on his good friends, his close friends list on Instagram. So I saw his birthday celebration. I believe he turned 30. Cody Bellinger's probably, by the way, with Scott Boras, because this is one thing Scott Boras does try to do. And this is something people have to think about. Alex Bregman didn't play himself into a contract. That's one thing that people have to remember. Alex Bregman did something very similar last year to Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt, ice cold in the first half. He was horrendous. Just a bad baseball player. Not good at all. Not good at anything. And all of a sudden, the second half, he figured it out. Alex Bregman, in his final year with Houston, showed up in the first half of a contract year, was absolutely dismal. He was not good. And all of a sudden, you turn around, and Alex Bregman figures it out in the second half, and you say, okay, great, he's going to get his big payday. Well, some teams like that, and other teams don't. And you know one thing it leads you to? it leads you to a short-term, high AAV deal. And that's exactly what Alex Bregman found out. Cody Bellinger, on the other hand, has just been electric all year. What, we're going to criticize him for April when we know he was hurt? We know he's hurt. So now Cody Bellinger can tell you, all right, I showed you what I can do with Chicago. Okay, great. Not everybody bought into that. Not everyone thought I could do this again. And I showed up and did it again. So when you're looking at an age 30 player and you say, what type of contract's he going to be looking for? Well, he's already made over $100 million in his career. He's probably looking for a deal that's going to take him close to retirement. He may be looking for a contract in terms of years, north of 6 years, north of 7 years. Will the Yankees bite at that? Will they look at this player and say, well, hold on a second. I was comfortable going, what did we go, 16 years on Juan Soto? I believe the Yankees offered him a 16-year contract. Of course, being a 25-year-old player made a lot of sense at the time, but maybe the Yankees say, well, Cody Bellinger is going to ask for too long of a deal. They may just say, we have to go get a Kyle Tucker, but even then, I don't think I like that. I think Cody Bellinger just offers too much to this team in terms of versatility defensively. You need him to play first base because Ben Rice, maybe he's gone, or Ben Rice can't play over there. Cody Bellinger can. You need him to play right, center, or left. Cody Bellinger can do that. I just think this player is just far too valuable. You don't have any choice. You're at his will.
Yeah, and I think like with this Juan Soto comparison here, it's just a reminder, Juan Soto's still a better player, right?
Oh,
so it's
easily.
not like they got better offensively, with Cody Bellinger, but you factor in how this, I'm not going to say it's close, but you can see the things that he's adding, and it made what could have been really like just a giant gut punch. It really softens the blow because he's not Juan Soto, but I will tell you, the defense is so good, it almost balances it out the here and now. So
I was going to tell you, I may sound really stupid, like very stupid saying this, and people may clip this. They may say, see, this is why we don't listen to Yankees Unloaded. But I'm going to tell you my opinion anyway, because that's just what my family does. Well, when you look at Cody Bellinger, and obviously I'm very sad you took Juan Soto off the screen, because Kyle Tucker is another guy of the same build as Cody Bellinger. He's going to do everything. You can argue, and I'm going to say Juan Soto is a better player than Cody Bellinger. I'm not going to argue against that. But my argument, and this is my take, given what we are poor at, which is the fundamentals, making defensive plays. Obviously, we had to get much better defensively this year. It was just a huge problem. Huge. I think Cody Bellinger is much more helpful than Juan Soto. I actually think if you swap Juan Soto onto this team and take Cody Bellinger off of it, I think we're worse. I believe that.
That's what I've been saying. I mean, obviously Juan Soto is slugging better, whatever, but I just think, I tweeted out today, Bellinger, anytime he's at the plate, and I don't get this from anybody else, not even the best hitter in the world, I actually, believe it or not, more often than not, feel like Judge is either going to hit a home run or strike out. Because I feel like he's kind of gone away from that. Earlier in the year, he was focusing so much on contact. And I feel like now he's kind of trying to add more power. And we're seeing...
It could be the Cal Raleigh race. We have no idea what the situation is. I doubt it, but Cody Bellinger's a better... The overall player of what we need, he does everything, and we cannot afford... Yeah. We wouldn't be winning games. If Juan Soto was in left field today, is that ball caught? That Cody Bellinger probably caught 4 balls today in left field that Juan Soto never catches. Now, again, Juan Soto's a better baseball player because he's that much better offensively. We would never...
They lose today. If
you lose today. So it's the difference in when you get into close games. You have to have enough players on the field where you say, the ball's in play. God, I'm nervous. I want to hit to him. Not that guy. Hey, do you guys want the ball hit to Anthony Volpe right now in the clutch? No. Do you want the ball hit to Peraza, who's supposed to be a defensive specialist in 150? Do you want the ball hit to him? No. Do you want the ball hit to Jason Dominguez? No. Aaron Judge in right field? Probably yes. Right? I know he made the big error in the World Series, but he made it in center field where he's not good. He's just not. The analytics tell you. So there's something to be said for value on the team that you're signed with, not necessarily apples to apples, and just talking about these players in a vacuum. What player accidentally got thrown on there?
It was, I wanted to compare him to Rafaela because he's having a great year.
He's having a great year.
And I put up Kyle Tucker and just got rid of Cody Bellinger, which was pointless. It
reminds me of that video where they're like, what happened to, was it Josh Bell? Have you seen that? One of the funniest videos. Obviously, we can't explain it on the podcast. Otherwise, we'll get canceled or whatever they do.
Yeah.
But this is a good comparison.
Yeah, they're both really good players. Rafaela is really good for the sport, so love that. Young, but Bellinger's a better player. Defensively, the WAR is up there, obviously, for Rafaela, but yeah, I think Bellinger is underrated, really underrated. And again, as far as I'm concerned, he has a 900 OPS with the Yankees. I'm not even looking at April.
He's a star right now. If we could get this version of Cody Bellinger, this is a superstar. This is the player who can be in an MVP race. Now, unfortunately for Cody Bellinger, right, he had a bad April, and also, Aaron Judge plays in the same, right? You're talking about plays in the AL. I'm not saying Cody would have won the MVP, but you guys get the point. Ohtani's on the other side as well. So there are a ton of great players around. Cody Bellinger is one of the most valuable players for his team in the sport. He just is. And the same thing is for Rafaela. I hate that we kind of just chalk it up to WAR, and I know you don't do that.
No,
but when we look at, if you watch the Boston Red Sox, Rafaela is clearly the most important player they have on the field. They have good players around the yard. None of them impact the game on a day-to-day basis more than him. The same thing you can argue for Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger is not our best hitter. He's just not. It's not even close. However, he can change a game with his glove. He did it a couple weeks ago in a game we would have said if we lost, it would have been off the rails. He makes a shoestring catch, has a great arm, makes a laser of a throw to first base, and doubles off a runner. And then shows you again with the glove today and, of course, with the bat. He can also run. Cody Bellinger can do everything. So I just think the Yankees right now are sort of in a situation where this player is showing you too much. In a way, it is, and I know you somewhat hate it, Jake, but it is a blank check. It is 5 years, $125 million. It's gonna be bigger. It's gonna be a bigger contract maybe than anyone thought possible. But can you really get mad at a player who outperforms a short-term deal that you traded for, and now you want him back, and you maybe have to pay money for that? I mean, isn't that what it means to earn your money?
Yeah, I mean, I still can't believe this guy wasn't an all-star. It's silly to me. Another good comparison here, a Rosarena, who has way more plate appearances, but
he's a much better player than Randy Rosarena, in my opinion.
I
much
totally
better
agree.
Player.
But Randy Rosarena took the spot after last thing here, Julio Rodriguez. He got, because he started. He's the one that got in the All-Star game over him. I don't understand it.
Well, the players really like Julio. And mind you, we're not telling you to like him as a person, but the performance, Cody Bellinger is a better player than him. He just is. Don't tell me. I get it. Don't tell me about WAR. Don't tell me about it. Cody Bellinger is just better at everything. He just is. He can play left field, right? Julio is pretty much playing the same position. He struggles at the beginning of the year, every single year. Then and you're talking multiple months, all the way to the All-Star break sometimes, oftentimes. And then he plays well in the second half. Well, I paid you for the whole year. Cody Bellinger had a horrible, dismal first month of the year. We told you guys why it was happening in real time, right? Jake, you actually were the one who located that back injury, and we talked about it at length. Outside of that month, and we told you guys it's going to turn around. I said on this podcast he's going to hit 285. You said you'd take it if he hit 280. He's hitting 280, isn't he?
He's going to hit 300 this year. He just is. He's hit 300 in every single month since, by the way, if you didn't know that. Every single month since April, including March, because people forget the first 3 games. He was awesome. Then he hurt his back. Oh, spring training, which doesn't matter. They're like, spring training doesn't matter. Yeah, Higashioka had 7 home runs. Spring training doesn't matter. Well, it did for Cody Bellinger because he translated it. Unfortunately, he hurt his back. The biggest issue with Bellinger is that he played through the back injury. That is the biggest issue. And that is why he struggled. I'm convinced. I mean, the sample size proves it. So, yeah. That's
Yanks in the ninth with the 5. Yeah, we can throw ourselves up on the big screen, so I'm not hiding in the corner.
Oh, you don't like hiding?
Not loving my positioning there. But Yanks in the 9th. Thank you for the 5. We really appreciate you getting involved. He says, best bet they work out a multi-team trade. I read this super chat a couple minutes ago. This is wild. This is wild, and we'll talk about it. No idea is a bad idea, but we'll talk this through. The best bet is they work out a multi-team trade for a third baseman. Send out Jason Dominguez. His fielding is too much of a liability. Horrid. Extend Belly and keep Spencer. So I'm going to break this down and answer this nice, just short and sweet. Clearly, Jason Dominguez doesn't have it going right now. So it's easy to put him as the guy on the outside circle, right? And not as part of the future. He's 0 for his last 18. That is a fact. No player looks good when they're in the midst of an 0 for 18. But you know when players look worse when they're 0 for 18? When they are actively in a platoon job, which he is. He doesn't play every day. And also when you're one of the worst fielders on the team. Jason Dominguez is not a good fielder. I understand it's much improved. We've covered that. And credit to him for at least working at that aspect of the game, not giving up on it. But Jason Dominguez still, to this day, is a bad fielder. There's no other way to put that. And so the Yankees have to ask themselves, is Jason Dominguez, is his bat going to be quality enough to override what the glove is? First, you have to ask that question. And then once you answer it, that'll somewhat tell you what you do with these players. Spencer Jones, who is also named in this super chat, is a dynamic fielder. People amongst the Yankees seem to think he could be a Gold Glove defender, not just in his home position, but also in the corners, in any position in the outfield. That's valuable. It's more of what the Yankees are currently benefiting from with Cody Bellinger, being an all-around baseball player. So, Jake, what do you think about this idea? Because the Yankees' future is just around the corner. I know it's burned in my mind saying that. But the Yankees have big decisions this offseason. It's not as simple as, oh, Jones shows up. Now you're going to have Bellinger return. Now Dominguez is going to play. Judge is going to play. No, some guys are going to be on the outside of the circle. That's just the way it goes. What do you think about the idea of the Yankees buying into more overall well-rounded players of Spencer Jones per se? And mind you, he hasn't proven it. And then kicking someone like Jason Dominguez kind of out the fold. And mind you, you would get a ton for Jason Dominguez. So what do you think about this concept?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I kind of see them both. I would keep them both, obviously. And I also think, as much as I love Spencer Jones, we know Jason Dominguez can play in the league. Maybe defensively we don't, but offensively we do. We don't know if Spencer Jones will. I mean, I feel like he's going to. I feel very, very confident.
But he could be a dud, for sure.
But yeah, that's the thing. And so it's like you don't want to. That's the tough part, Gary. You really don't. And this also kind of coincides a little bit with our, what we were saying about Trent Grisham. You trade away Trent Grisham and then you call up, or the same thing with Ben Rice, right? You trade away Ben Rice. You trade away Trent Grisham and you're like, Spencer Jones. If Spencer Jones isn't ready, you're a World Series or bust team. So it's really kind of brutal. Puts a lot of pressure on him. He has to succeed, and if he doesn't, he's not going to play. And if he's not going to play, he's not really going to have a chance to get any better. His stock's going to dwindle. So now you can't really trade him if you want to. And his confidence could be shot. So there's definitely concern there. I don't really feel that way, but I'm just saying I like to look at all variables. I just think trading away somebody who's part of the solution, and Dominguez is part of the solution, okay? He has a chance to be their franchise leadoff hitter. I think he's already exhibited that ability at age 22. So I feel like that I would stay away from sending anyone like that. I really would just be like, you know what? We got Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, who is pitching very well. He is pitching very well. He just had a huge day today in Double-A. And, I would take advantage, and this is what they do based on, the past. They'll take a guy, right, like Agustin Ramirez, who isn't like top prospect in their organization. He plays like it. All of a sudden, his stock is really high, but he's not one of the top 5 guys, right? They'll package that guy and turn it into a Jazz Chisholm. They'll take a Narvaez and get Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, who is already going to end up being probably a top 5 prospect for them. Okay, the pitching is outstanding, and he's rising up quickly. But they tend to strike while the iron's hot, not necessarily on the top prospects, which is why I don't necessarily think it's going to be Spencer Jones. It's probably going to be a guy like Lagrange or Lagrange. I don't know how to say his name. I hope it's Lagrange. I think that's a cool freaking last name, especially if you're a ZZ Top fan because of the song. But yeah, like I think Lagrange type, he's killing it. He's really starting to look dangerous. He just got moved up. Oh, I can say this now. The top 100, he's now in the top 100 in MLB Pipeline. He's now number 2. Spencer Jones fell to number 3 on the MLB.com prospect list for the Yankees. So I feel like maybe some insiders haven't quite caught up to that yet because I haven't seen his name mentioned, Gary. And I'm telling you, I don't think people were really talking about Agustin Ramirez. And then all of a sudden he just kind of exploded onto the scene and he's hitting home run after home run after home run. And then they trade him away and get Jazz. So I feel like that's kind of the direction they're going in. I don't think they're going to trade anybody that's like actively on the roster. It really kind of goes back to the whole trading away Gleyber Torres to get Pablo Lopez.
I figured it out.
Marlins. I just don't think that makes any sense to trade away a guy that's part of the solution in a Jason Dominguez, in a Ben Rice, somebody like that. You know what I mean? Like
I figured it out.
Oh, you did?
I've completely figured it out.
All right,
so
let me hear
when
it.
you said Jason Dominguez is part of the solution, he is. But Jason Dominguez is not part of the solution in 2025. He's just not. Jason Dominguez is great at some things. He just is. I think leading off, right, and doing what he does at the top of the order, he's great up there. He is. But Boone doesn't really use him consistently in that way. But he may in the future. So he's not an answer right now as far as the pennant race goes. And I mean, he doesn't give the Yankees the best shot. Technically speaking, in the short term, the best thing the Yankees can do right now as far as individual output is, and I'm not saying the Yankees should trade Jason Dominguez. I'm saying they shouldn't. But the best way for the Yankees to become more fundamental, pretty much every way that you criticize the Yankees, their shortstop has no fundamentals. Their third baseman has no fundamentals. No arm, right? We continue to talk about that with Volpe. I see the comments just going berserk about his arm. But the point is, what the Yankees are bad at, Jason Dominguez can't help solve it at all. Jason Dominguez, his strength of his game just improves what the Yankees are somewhat good at. Now, his legs do improve something we're bad at. But the point is, what Jason Dominguez is currently great at, or periodically, every once in a while great at, is what the Yankees currently don't struggle at. The Yankees are scoring. They just are. Overall, the Yankees don't have trouble scoring. And Jason Dominguez and his strength helps the Yankees score more consistently. Okay, great. But when people are saying, how do we become more fundamental? Balls lasered out to left field. The answer is for Cody Bellinger to be standing out there. How do the Yankees catch a ball lasered out to the left center gap and the center fielders, he's the only one who can get to the ball? How do we best catch that ball? Well, Trent Grisham has to be out there. There's your answer. Balls lasered out to right field is the answer, Jason Dominguez to be out there. It never is. So Jason Dominguez doesn't help solve the Yankees becoming more fundamental. So when the Yankees struggle in the fundamentals, the easy thing to do is look at all of the players who struggle in that way with the fundamentals defensively and say, he's not part of this problem. Like, he's part of the problem and he's not part of the solution. So people would say, well, we maybe have to get rid of him. I think it would be a mistake as soon as 2026. Immediately, as soon as 2026 starts, Jason Dominguez should improve somewhat defensively where his glove is not as much of a problem. And the Yankees are going to give him a bigger role offensively where you get an opportunity to see what he's good at on a day-to-day basis. The problem is, Jake, we don't see him every day. So when you don't see this player every day, and then when he does play, he's bad defensively, it's easy to pick on him. It just is. So I get this super chat. I completely understand it. I wouldn't do it, but I get the concept of why people are starting to break it down this way.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. This is actually a good problem to have when you have like Spencer Jones putting pressure on your major league roster. I don't believe it's a great problem to have when you have guys that should be starting that are on your bench, because it sounds great in a video game, but when you're actually like in reality, when guys, you can't control who's at the plate, right? But in a video game, you can. So say you have 3-4 guys on the bench, right? And we all used to do this when we were little, in video games, especially baseball. Our backup infielder would be like Derek Jeter or something, and we'd just have like an all-star freaking team.
I did
we'd
that.
Find a way to do it, right? The backup catcher was probably Mike Piazza or something crazy. That works because it's a video game. You could just take over control every at bat. But in reality, these guys, there is, and I guess they do try to have the morale feature in video games, but it never goes the way they want it to. But in reality, you have morale. You have, the ability to gel, like the continuity, but you also have like confidence. You have the human nature coming into the conclusion. And then of course, let's not, forget, how can you stay into a rhythm when you're constantly being taken out of the lineup? See, again,
Yeah,
rhythm doesn't matter.
You think Ben Rice plays tomorrow, by the way?
Well, I'm kind of blanking on what side of the mound Bassett pitches on. Is he
He's a righty.
lefty? Oh, okay, he's a righty. That's a good question. Bassett's a tough, crafty guy, though.
I did think it was funny, by the way, that Cody Bellinger played at all today, considering the fact the reason, like the actual reason that they tried to justify for him not playing was that he had really bad numbers against the starting pitcher of that day. And they said, well, that's our reasoning. It's as simple as that. It wasn't analytics. It was because of those numbers. And then the next day, Cody Bellinger again had putrid numbers against Max Scherzer. And they said, he's playing. Why is he playing?
He's never
playing
be
because he's Cody Bellinger. That's why he should play. So the reason you played Cody today, mind you, if Cody didn't play, we just lose. We just lose this game. I understand Jazz hit a big 3-run home run. We understand all of it. Ben Rice, huge home run. The Yankees lose if Cody Bellinger doesn't show up today.
The Dodgers taking Freddie Freeman out of the lineup just because, he's got bad numbers again. It's like, he's our second best player. What are you talking about?
And people make it seem like you're arguing Freddie Freeman versus in comparing the two players. You're not. We're telling you guys, if you have a starting 9, look at the top 3 or 4, right? Your top 3 or 4 players in your roster. Yeah, do you see those guys you named, the Judge, and then, right, you're looking up and you're saying, all right, isn't Cody Bellinger in your top 4 or 5 best players on the Yankees team? Isn't that what you would say? Well, how is it that we don't come to the yard and say, well, to hell with the numbers. He's Cody Bellinger. That's what they did today, and obviously you look up and you get a big 3-for-4 night in a night where we had 6 hits.
Yeah.
We had to have it. It was big time.
No, shout out to John, by the way, for being a new member. We
Welcome in,
appreciate
John.
you.
Back-to-back members, by the way. Blue Dot
7
Thank you.
Became a new member, so we appreciate you guys. Shout out to you. I do want to touch on the bullpen a little bit. Tim Hill comes in, immediately gives up 2 runs. I mean, obviously, neither were his fault, or at least earned. Didn't love Tim Hill today, but I feel like I'm not the biggest fan of Tim Hill, but I feel like he's better than anybody that pitched today out of the bullpen, except for the usual Weaver and Williams. Like, I think he's surpassed Loaizaga. I think he's surpassed Hamilton. I'm actually looking forward to Yeri De Los Santos coming back. I think that is probably one of the better arms they have in the bullpen. I think the upside is there. I think Mark Leiter Jr. coming back, if that does happen, that is a boost. And I think Fernando Cruz,
Are there any lefties on the market, by the way? I feel like we're a little thin.
That is a really good point because you look at the bullpen and who is the only lefty there? It is Tim Hill. There's not another lefty in the bullpen. And
his ERA is 2.54, so it's not like he's been putrid, but his calling card is weak contact and
fielding independent pitching. Like Tim Hill gets away with a lot. So, and unfortunately, isn't David Bednar a righty?
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? I don't even care because I want him. But
mind you, we'll take a bullpen of 7 dynamite righties, 6 dynamite righties. If they're gonna be great, for example, Mason Miller, does it matter he's facing a lefty? No, because he's just good. So if we can find a lefty specialist, by all means. I don't love that Tim Hill is our only option.
Which lefties are? Why? I thought there were plenty of lefties in this league, but apparently not.
We haven't talked about that. And I feel like there should be a premium on them because if you think about it, more times than not, especially when we came into this year's, like you're talking about entering into spring training or even behind that in the winter, everyone's like, well, everyone's got to beat the Dodgers. The Dodgers are the team we got to beat. Well, who do you got to get out? Freddie Freeman. And you're talking about at best, if you win the pennant and you go see this team or you make it to a championship series, you're going to run into this team. You got to get Ohtani out. You got to get Freddie Freeman out. Right? Now, obviously, of course, they have Mookie Betts to keep you honest, right, on the right side. But I don't know, guys. It feels like kind of, I don't know if it's an issue. I don't know if I would just simply pencil it in as a problem that you don't have lefties. But when Tim Hill is your only lefty specialist
we found a lefty.
Good God, look at this.
He was mentioned. Didn't mean to spoil
Yes, he was.
He was.
Yes, he did.
He was mentioned in the interview. So we'll see.
Steve is really John Morosi.
But look, 35 years of age. So this is exactly the type of guy I think that they would go after because I think they're going to want one guy for control, right? And I think they're just going to get one guy. And if they get anybody that makes it the lefty specialist there, like I think that makes sense there.
Does he miss bats? I know that graphic doesn't. Well, actually, it does.
Well, I mean, the whiff and the Ks are pretty high. Anything
the Ks are okay. The whip is low.
This is the average line. Okay, if you're like here, this is like really good. Oh, you can't even see my cursor.
No, I was gonna say, where's your cursor?
So here is the average line. If you're right here, this is really good stuff. I mean, that's probably in the close to 80s.
So he's around the zone. That's what we know about him. He'll miss a bat. That's something we talked about in 2024. Jack Curry covered it and said the Yankees just aren't missing enough bats. Well, you bring in another lefty specialist.
We just got great comments. I'm seeing it. I totally see Mike Stanton.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I see that 100%. But yeah, I think so. Gary, you would be down for this?
I'd be in this 100%. I'm looking at, again, I'm not going to look at a player and simply say I'm looking for a lefty specialist, but you need another look. And if they look, mind you guys, think about our goals. I want everyone to just stop for 1 second. Think about what the Yankees are trying to do, whether our audience thinks they have a single chance in hell to do it, which is win the World Series. Who's the team you're most likely technically to run into? I know they're not playing great baseball right now. It's the Los Angeles Dodgers. You mean to tell me you're going to win a 7-game series against a team where you're more than likely going to be throwing out specialists to try and get Ohtani out, to get Freeman out late in games? You're going to do that multiple times in the series. You're going to trust Tim Hill by his lonesome for that assignment? You don't think it's a good idea to bring another arm, another look, different arm slot, different velocity, different spins, different pitch mixes? This is something, in my opinion, the Yankees have to do.
That's why they brought in Yarbrough. I just realized that.
Yes, exactly. So Yarbrough, obviously not healthy right now, but it's another look. So when Freddie Freeman sees you in game 2 or a game 1 where he probably should have been seen, well, you get to go into a game 6 or a game 5 and say, yeah, that may have worked, but will it work again? Well, we don't have to worry about it. We're going to give him another look. Because Hall of Famers, when they see you again, they're going to see you. It's not a good thing when they get another look.
So Danny Colombe, I don't think that's how you say his name.
Probably not.
But let's just say it is. So Danny Colombe gets you the lefty, right?
I just know it's wrong. There really should be a way to help you pronounce it on the side, but I'm thankful you're the one who read it.
I would kill for there to be like a play button here, and you could see Danny Colombe.
They used to have it on Wikipedia, and it somehow, some way, never helped you.
Oh,
the pronunciation
no, it made
was horrible.
It worse. It just got you in trouble.
Right.
So think about this. All right, bullpen. How I'm imagining it, because again, you got your 5 starters, right? Your 5 starters are going to be Fried, Rodon, Stroman, Heel, Warren, right? So does Schlittler go into the bullpen or not? I think he might. I genuinely think they might push him in the bullpen.
I think he gets sent down. I think they probably send him down.
I would personally send him down. I would. You have options, just use them, right?
So we agree. Okay.
So because I'm not trying to ruin him. Keep in mind, you send a guy to the bullpen, you get him down to those innings. Well, you just built him up into a starter. That's just, I don't like it. So I agree with sending him down if he is not going to be, there, right? So anyway, and by the way, I would actually choose Schlittler over Warren right now, but that's neither here nor there.
I would agree with that 100%. By the way, guys, in our audience, do you agree with that? Will Warren's done a ton to get here. Mm-hmm. Jake and I both believe in his development. We're not saying to trade him. We're not saying to kick him out forever. We're just saying we're 3 games back in the division. That's our update. We won a big game today, thanks to Ben Rice and Cody Bellinger and obviously crew. But when you're looking at these guys, Will Warren is just not it right now. He's not. And Cam Schlittler didn't have his stuff and still somehow found his way through a tough Toronto lineup. So I would agree with you. I think Will Warren, I don't know what I do with him. I probably just spin him out to the bullpen and he's maybe my multi-inning guy where I don't have to burn 6 names in my pen if my starter gets ripped. I think there's some value to that. It's not necessarily purgatory.
So think about this. And I guess it does get kind of confusing because, I mean, if Yarbrough comes back, isn't he better than Stroman? I mean, the way he was pitching, but they probably keep Stroman. I still can't believe that we're going to go into August and Stroman is actually in the rotation. Like, this is insane.
I think the Yankees probably will say when Heel's healthy, we're going to say that Stroman and Yarbrough shouldn't be in the rotation. I think that's the way they look at it. So, yes, technically, there's no way. And mind you, we want to give Marcus Stroman credit. People thought this was going to go south. Rightfully so. He was really bad at the beginning of this year, and it still could go south. So, obviously you see people trusting Marcus Stroman, but when you say I trust him lately, that pretty much just indicates in this tiny window, in 2 starts, he's shown us enough. Well, you also can say that Cam Schlittler's also shown something, and his velocity and stuff is much better.
It's funny hearing I trust him lately. That's like trusting the bad guy at the beginning of the movie that you know is going to be bad at the end. Like, you're like, oh, no, I think he might be good. I think he might, even though it's right in plain sight, you know how it's going to end. And yet at the beginning of the movie, they're already laying the groundwork. Oh, they're making him look like he's a good guy, but then they're kind of hinting at the fact that he's going to turn bad, and yet you're still at the end like, oh, man, I was really hoping he'd be good. That, to me,
he was really good against Atlanta. And you cannot just run a Yankees podcast and fail to acknowledge that. We acknowledged it, and we talked at length, 30 minutes long, talking about his start, what he did to achieve it, and he deserves a ton of credit. He's taking a ton of criticism. And so when you turn around and say, hey, I can give you credit on one side of the coin, and on the other side say, just because you had 2 good starts doesn't mean that I can say, well, we don't need a starter at the deadline, and Cam, send him down. We got Stroh. I think that's a bit ridiculous. Stroman is Kevin Spacey at the start of Usual Suspects. I mean, that's good. I wanted to put this up, by the way. We could probably throw Danny off the screen. Sorry, Danny. Kyle, and we did see this. Jake saw it. I didn't watch it. I don't watch. But Kyle with the 5 in the Super, and obviously a mod of ours said, did you see the Talking Yanks interview with Aaron Boone today? He was getting mad at them. Also, he said Rice is going to play tomorrow. Stanton off. So that's first and foremost great news, and we'll kind of work backwards here. Great news, we're going to see Ben Rice, obviously against a tough right-hander. He has pretty good numbers against some of our guys. We would love to see Ben Rice out there, and so there you have it. There's our news. He will be out there, so we can put that cigarette away. Giancarlo Stanton, on the other hand, he's been lights out offensively. He's been really good.
Sitting him. He doesn't need a day.
He doesn't need a day, but they're choosing to give him a day. So I would assume, right, Jason Dominguez, these are big games. Jason Dominguez might DH tomorrow. Do you think that's possible? Because I would assume, given how Trent Grisham's playing, given how Cody Bellinger's playing.
That's interesting.
They're going to want to have those guys in the field in these close games. I think that's how Jason Dominguez may be used. I think Jason Dominguez, if he plays in the postseason, he's going to be a DH on that day. That's my call. I'm not saying it's set in stone, but I think it's possible.
Wells did not have a good day. He's been in a little bit of a slide after hitting well. He was hitting 227, I think, and now he's down to 216. So he's in a bit of a slide right now. I think we see Rice at catcher.
Catcher, okay. I mean, that's totally justified based on the numbers you're mentioning. And obviously, JC Escar is in the basement. We have no idea where he's at.
He's getting traded for probably Danny Colombe.
That was just put perfectly. And by the way, we want to get to the part of this super chat about the interview because we did. Jake obviously brought me up to speed. The interview was heated, right? And it's somewhat, the gist of it is that Aaron Boone clearly is not acknowledging the elephants in the room, the obvious, which is that there are quite a few, by the way, obvious developments on this Yankees team. The Yankees probably need a third baseman. They don't have a third baseman. Okay, great. Shortstop is someone that you guys have been barking for 3 years and then some before you even got here of how much of an answer this was going to be. Now, he delivered on one side of the ball, defense, but the offense never showed up, and we were promised not Bobby Witt Jr., but something serviceable enough for this to be the future long term. We bought it. Okay, great. Well, Aaron Boone now has since told us, while just horrendous performance was before our eyes, no, he's elite. He's elite, right? It doesn't matter what you guys think. And in this interview, he also told John Boy that he doesn't care what people think. He doesn't care what any individual thinks about these players. Then why do the interviews? Just show up like Marshawn Lynch and say, I don't give a rip. I don't care what you guys think. Isn't that why you talk to the media? Is because you're at least pretending to care what we think, because that's who you're talking to. You're not really, when you talk to John Morosi, you talk to any one reporter, you're talking to that reporter so he can report to us.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. So when you tell us you don't give a rip,
he actually said that.
He actually said, I don't care what you guys think. And then he will.
No. He said, I don't give a rip. That's our thing.
Right. So he probably listens to the pod. No, he doesn't. But you can't
sit
sit
before,
here.
I guarantee you.
I'm sure he's seen it before. You're going to tell us you don't care what we think. Then just show up and we say, hey, Anthony Volpe now leads the league in errors with 13. He can't throw worth a lick. My mom in the chat earlier, obviously jokingly said she can throw better. I feel like I can go to a state fair and find somebody who throws better than Anthony Volpe. It's just the truth. He's still a good baseball player. He's in the major leagues. But we're going to sit here and act like you're going to show up to the podium, lie to us for months, years, and then we're actually going to ask you the real questions. And I think John Boy asked a legitimate question and had data to back that up. And obviously Jake is the one who brought this to my attention. You're going to now say you don't care, and you think we're now being, what, ridiculous for asking these questions? Jake, I think it's lunacy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like Boone. I'm frustrated with him. I do like him. I respect him. But I got to give a lot of credit to John Boy because, part of being an interviewer, part of being, a content creator is you kind of have to, put 10 toes down, right? Both of them. And I feel like when you when you get approached like that, and Boone is coming back at you, he's expecting you to back down, and he didn't. And so I appreciated that, because we haven't. When do you get to see that? Like, he's not going to get that. No one's going to do that in person, right?
By the way, Meredith has, with Yes, has also done a really good job of trying. She works for Yes Network. They cover the Yankees, trying to ask questions. John Boy is paying, literally forking out their money to interview this person and create content. That's what content creation is. You create opportunity, and then you have to do something with it. So now that these questions are being asked, and not everybody's asking them, by the way.
And she's great. I think she's very good at what she does. So.
Right. So again, guys, thank you in the comments, obviously, for helping push our channel. I will tell you guys, not everybody in content creation is asking the uncomfortable questions. We obviously will, maybe to a fault. But there's just no way you can sit up here with a straight face. And mind you guys, to provide some context earlier, when I called Anthony Volpe a good baseball player, there's no person who plays baseball at the big league level who literally sucks at baseball. They may not be a good baseball player in comparison to the expectations or in comparison to other players in Major League Baseball, but those are in comparison to great baseball players. There's just a lot of baseball players who are better at the big league level than Volpe right now. It's just a simple fact.
He brought up, by the way, Boone brought up Willy Adames and was like, Willy Adames. And Jake was quick to be like, well, hold on a sec. Willy Adames has plenty of runway.
Willy Adames played great last year.
Yeah. So
great baseball.
I think that's the issue. And I like the way John Boy worded it was perfect. Do you think the shield you've created, or you have in front of Volpe, is actually putting more pressure on Volpe, like putting more attention on him, because you are so vehemently? I think that's how he put it. His exact words, defending Volpe at every turn. It's like there's not any other real player. But then as soon as you talk about Volpe, it's like, you're really defensive. And he was just like, because, you guys cherry pick him. And basically Boone was saying, like, he feels like, people just have it out for him. And
cherry pick him. What are you talking about? You hit 2 home runs. People practically blew a gasket. Now, they didn't say he's going to be Jeter. But Yankees fans, mind you, we're some of the most reactionary fans because we watch every game. Yeah. We'll watch 162 baseball games, whether we should for our health or not. We'll probably watch, by the way, there are over 400 people in here. Earlier, there was over 5. And we'll sit here past midnight Eastern time, sitting here breaking down the X's and O's in detail. Other fan bases aren't doing this. Act like it's all negative, it's just not. It's just nonsense. And I think this is a total...
Oh, man.
I think Aaron Boone, this is actually the biggest problem I have with him. He's a total rejection of what we actually are as a fan base. Essentially, he wants us to be lunatics when it's going good. He wants us to be with our pom-poms out. Woohoo! We have Anthony Volpe. It's just going to be...
Someone clip that right now.
Right. It's going to be
Every
great.
Time they hit a home run.
Ben Rice hits a home run. Oh, my God, yay! Right? And you're just head over heels. Send the super chats in. We're just so excited for Ben Rice. Right? And they get to accept all the praise at a level no other fan base can go to, right? Arguably, Dodgers fans think they can match that, right? There's some other fan bases who think they can do that, and it's arguable. But now all of a sudden, you want us to get our pom-poms out and then say we're cherry picking when we talk about something negative because it's been bad for multiple years in a row, and you're going to compare him to a player in Willy Adames who played good enough baseball to warrant a contract north of $150 million. Are you out your goddamn mind? I'm telling you right now, I'm sitting here thinking that starting this podcast was going to extend my life because I can blow out the lines and not feel so draped up with these emotions. And I'm sitting there listening to Aaron Boone, and I told you guys what my biggest problem with Boone. Aaron Boone doesn't acknowledge what we actually are. He only wants to take the good side. He wants to be praised by the most excited fan base that there is to date. And then when that fan base is pissed off and wants to hold him accountable, he's like, why are you guys down my back? You're cherry picking. This is what comes with it. Accountability. Aaron Boone is it's just foolish at this point.
Yeah, by the way, that the Anthony Volpe that we were talking about is hitting 212. So he went over 3 today. And the OPS is now 675. So for whatever reason, he has 53 RBIs. It's probably the most random thing ever. But
I love that you say for whatever reason. We have no idea. Every hit, he has 53 hits. That's how he has 53.
I don't understand because like Paul Goldschmidt has 37. So I don't. I think RBIs have been nullified on this team. They don't.
Goldschmidt also
sense.
spent a ton of time leading off.
That's
right.
True.
You know that, but you know all these things.
But it's about that.
Silly
to me. Like so. I want to say something kind of funny. If you took every fan base, you combined their heart rate, okay, or their blood pressure. Yankees fans have to have the craziest blood pressure, right? Like you'd have to imagine. I mean, it is. You go on social media, and people are like, "I was enjoying my week, and now I don't want to live." This weekend was great. I don't know why I turned on the Yankees. Like,
it's interesting that we think that way because when I see Jonathan Loaizaga, by the way, of all people,
cigarettes.
I actually think I'm literally as stoic as one has become. I'm not kidding you. It could be Game 7 of the World Series.
Oh, man.
And players are dropping like flies, injury here, injury there. And somehow, some way, Johnny Lowe.
This is what a diehard does. This is
if
what
Johnny
diehard
Lowe
means.
found his way onto a field in Game 7 in the World Series, I don't think my heart rate would jump a single beat. I am now just, my heart is just, it's a pit of just darkness, and I just watch. I'm really just a complete spectator at this point, and I will tell you, if Johnny Lowe or Tim Hill or Ian Hamilton steps on a mound, and you're like, this could go good, but it's probably going to go bad, and they get your heart rate up, I'm telling you guys, you need to go for a walk. Maybe you can bring it on, put it on your phone, go for a walk. Have no expectations of these guys. Those guys should not be on the roster. Tim Hill probably should be. But those guys, like, I don't want to see. I know Ian Hamilton will be on this team. I just know it. They love him. Johnny Lowe should not be on this team. We need another bullpen arm.
No, I think tonight should be the last game Johnny Lowe pitches for the Yankees, personally. And I've been a defender of his.
We'll see him tomorrow.
I know. His ERA is over 5. We've been, yeah, the stuff. Oh, my God. Like, how do you not see the potential? Here's the deal, okay? He's 30. So, like, when is this? Let me just take a little gander at Johnny Lowe, okay? He has had some good moments in the past. Like, he had a 5.11 ERA, 4.55, then went down to 3.52, then a 2.17, then a 4.13, then a 3.06, then a 0 in 3 games, now a 5.04.
Lowe must go.
Here is the thing about Johnny Lowe, okay? He is inconsistent. Awesome. He can't stay healthy. His stuff is great, but you don't know where it's going to go half the time. It's like if Dontrell Willis was a relief pitcher, but he wasn't like as good as Dontrell Willis. There you go.
Can I ask you a question and just answer it short and sweet?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't Johnny Lowe on this team because he simply throws 100?
Well, yeah.
It's like velocity.
That's the entire point. Yeah, he's
Perfect.
like our high velocity guy.
Perfect. I don't know if you knew this, but Dustin, is it Trevor May? Trevor May is just started a YouTube series where obviously he threw 100 miles an hour at one point in his career, right? He was a really good reliever and no longer playing. He's now podcasting, runs a YouTube show, right? Does a good job. Well, he's currently on track, or at least attempting to get back, and this is part of his content in the bit, is seeing if he can get his body back to throwing 100 miles an hour. So I think it's going to be really interesting. I'm going to be going to watch that. But I guess the question is, if he throws 100 miles an hour at any point in this journey, should the Yankees just sign him and say he's going to be fine because he throws 100? Baseball, and mind you, is not just about throwing 100 miles an hour. It doesn't mean anything. It's not an indication of anything. It's not. You have to be able to locate the spin, and we've talked about the movement is not there. It's just not. It's just 98. but it's right there for the taking to hit, and the results speak for themselves. Obviously, Jake is just laughing like a hyena. What did you put up on the screen?
Bring back Marinaccio, send J-Lo to Jolo to Jupiter. I remember when I used to I used to lose sleep over the fact that Ron Marinaccio had some great stats and they just kept sending him down. And then the glass shattered and I realized he's just not that good. But it is funny because I totally forgot about him in a sense until you just posted that. So I had to bring it up. And it made me laugh just because it's just like...
So I'm just really curious.
Yeah.
If May can get back to throwing 100 miles an hour, why wouldn't the Yankees just be like, we'll sign him? Well, because you'd suggest that he's not going to locate. Obviously, he's been out of baseball. The spin is not going to be there, despite the velocity being there. Johnny Lowe is just throwing 98. He's just a guy throwing 98 miles an hour. And it's very hard to do that. But it's of no indication for success. So this is just unfortunate. Obviously, Anna, thank you for becoming a member. Welcome to Yankees Unloaded. I'm obviously not sure, haven't necessarily seen you in there, but thank you for doing so. And John with the super says, for the 5, says, Gary, if offered, would you take the Yankees front office job?
Take a? So you'd be like you'd be a part of a group of people. I don't know if you'd like that.
Yeah, because I mean, you guys have to remember, I do this job because I want to do this. We technically started this podcast because we wanted to podcast. I think a lot of people start stuff like this because they want to be famous or they want to like have a success. Say they have a show that's working out and have people tell them it's good. That's not why we did this. We started this because we wanted to find people who gave a rip about the details, like we do. Because if this show didn't exist, Jake, what would we be doing? We'd be sitting here texting each other going, can you believe we'd be talking Cody Bellinger contract, right, and opt-outs, and that's what we'd be doing. Well, if I took this Yankees front office job, yes, I have somewhat of control. Obviously, Hal Steinbrenner probably would clip my wings. You guys would see me, I don't know, would I start talking like, it would be like I don't know how many people in here, obviously we have an older audience. How many people watch SpongeBob where at the chum bucket, Plankton's throwing the helmets on people and just turning them into Boone heads where they just say what we say when we say it. And I'm just not sure if I'd be allowed to operate the way I want to. Derek Jeter quit the job in Miami because he wasn't allowed to operate the way he wanted to. He wanted to spend money and invest into players in the future and in the now. And yet people want Derek Jeter to be our GM, be in the front office, because he would be able to emulate and most represent what we want, which is how we everything.
You'd be like, no, that trade sucks. I'm going to leak that.
Right. Exactly. So if I wasn't allowed to do what I want to do, guys, keep in mind, I would never be hired. And I'm not saying I'm qualified to be hired, but the point is, even if they wanted to, I'm not the type of personality that they can control. So I would just not get the job. They interview me and be like, look, will you abide by our budget? We're not going to go past 300 million. I'd be like, hell no. I'd be tweeting how ridiculous it was. They're like, nah, I don't think it's good.
I get this all the time. So this is actually kind of funny because I get it, not with the Yankees, because I mean we're new in the space. You're not, but I mean I definitely am. But with the Rams, you know, I get people all the time, like, if they offered you a job, scouting department, whatever, would you take it? And I always say, no. Why would I take it? I can't do what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing.
Agreed.
And there was a time, I don't even know if I should say this, but the GM of the Rams, his wife actually, who I think she's very nice, I have nothing against her, she came out and she's like, well, we wouldn't hire you anyway. So...
Nice.
So she got a little offended by me saying I would not take a job with them. It wasn't like that. It has nothing to do with the Rams. It's more so, and the reason I bring it up, it's very similar to what you're saying, is that basically, right, this is our full-time job, making content for a living. You also do covers. You're doing a great job with them. So for me, you know, I do Bleacher Report. I do my Ram stuff. I'm doing Lakers stuff. I'm interviewing cool people on another channel. I'm gaming. I get to do all that I want to do. Like, it's nothing against the Yankees, the Rams, or anybody professionally that would ask me to be a part, if they did, of their organization. But I like being my own boss. And Gary, I'll tell you, I figured out very early on, I am not a man of structure. And Gary knows this because we will go live whenever we want. We do not have a schedule, and you guys know this. We go live after the game. Sometimes right after the game, sometimes
it's not like
2
Yes
hours
Network,
after the game.
where they're like 5 minutes after, and obviously you're in a studio, they have a boss over the top of their head. We get that. And it's obviously more of a structured show, not opinion-based. So to answer the question, no, I would probably just hang up the phone. And mind you, very similar situation. My dad's been offered hitting coach jobs all the time. Happens almost every other year. They say, well, you're Gary Sheffield, so will you be able to teach this player who can't hit a lick, right? We want to improve his bat speed. Can you come do that? And my dad's answer has been pretty simple. I don't want to travel the way that these guys travel. There are all types of things that you have to do by taking some of these jobs. You have to move to New York and sit in this cubicle and listen to some random person tell you an analytic that you don't care about. I don't want that. I just don't. So no, I would decline the job. Absolutely.
Oh, you don't want to hear about waffle and bacon?
No, I'm going to have much more fun when Ed W helps us set up a meet and greet at Yankee Stadium. And I get to meet people, our audience, at Yankee Stadium in, what's it called, the Audi Club? When we get to meet everybody and put some faces to these names, because I know it's not necessarily normalized for Oakland fan or IO, right, or Christopher to have their face on here in the chat. But when we show up to Yankee Stadium, faces aren't going to look like that. And so that's going to be what's interesting.
Well,
and and technically speaking, we're living the dream. So when people ask us what we do for our day jobs, what we do for a career, we chose to do this. This is what we do. You're looking at it. We love what we do. And I wouldn't be allowed to podcast because I think Aaron Boone's brother was a podcaster and then took a job in the middle of the year. And you have to quit your job. It's a conflict of interest. You're leaking information. It's not a good look. So no, I would decline it immediately.
JJ Redick, when he took the
exactly,
job
and he had a great podcast, by the way.
Oh my God, his podcast was so good. Made me actually want to listen to basketball X's and O's, which I never thought I cared about.
To be fair, significant raise taking the head coach job for the Lakers as opposed to podcasting. But what if you told JJ Redick, hey, you want to come in and do the X's and O's and be the GM? We'll pay you whatever it is. Not really.
Well, think about this. You know, Guy Fieri, right? Loves, food. He loves being able to go out and try all the food in the world. Don't you think people ask him all, oh, wouldn't you want to have, to be like, Gordon Ramsay or, do something different or, maybe have your own show. Like he has his own show, but I mean like his own, talk show and everything. No, he likes doing what he's doing. Like that's what he enjoys. That's his passion. And
I think Gordon Ramsay lives the easiest life of all time. Mind you, he put in a ton of work to get there. He just shows up he'll literally show up to the broadcast and just go, it's horrible. This is delicious. Oh, I can taste the lemon in there. I'm telling you right now, if anyone's living the dream, I was thinking we were, Jake. Gordon Ramsay, he makes us look like we're in the damn coal mines.
You ever see the Chris D'Elia skit on Gordon Ramsay? About, cancel culture. He's like, I don't understand. All these people in cancel culture, it's like there's literally 11 different things of Gordon Ramsay, 11 different shows of Gordon Ramsay on HBO Max that you could go and watch where he's like taking 2 pieces of bread and slapping them against like a dude's ears and be like, hey man, you're a bologna sandwich, mate. Like he's like, hey, you got the footage. Get him. Like
Gordon Ramsay. Technically speaking, what people should learn, by the way, if you create a platform based on public perception, right? Like you go to Twitter, for example. This is why Twitter, everyone's always wondering why it's so tightly wound and why it's just total losers for the most part. And people dominating the conversation are just losers. Well, the reason that's happening is because you're sitting out there and saying, well, they get to control it. Like they just do. Cancel culture, you build. Everything they built is on what people think. It can also just be taken away by what a couple people think now. You may say the wrong thing, you're done, right? Meanwhile, some of these guys, Gordon Ramsay could say whatever the hell he wants. And Ed W. with the chat, obviously a member here, and we will definitely call you to set up that meet and greet. And obviously the event at Yankee Stadium. I can't wait to do that. We'll definitely do it in 2026. So Aroma obviously saying let's get the tickets going. So people are somewhat excited about it, and I'm definitely excited about it because I want to meet people. I want to put some faces to these names. Ed W says taking one of my daughters on 8/27 for the Nationals game at 1. Brunch at the love that. The Audi Club at 11:30. Think about it. So first and foremost, I did see below, I believe, so he said it's her 13th birthday. So happy birthday to your daughter.
Yes.
That's awesome. Birthday. Yeah. That's awesome.
I unfortunately do have prior obligations. Otherwise, I would be very interested in August 27th. But
and I live in Arizona, so it's going to be a we'll see.
Yeah. And the whole plane thing. So now you have to take a boat or whatever.
Yeah, like I told you guys before, not everybody knows this. My mom's a flight attendant at Southwest Airlines. Been flying my whole life. Not a fan of flying all of a sudden. So I guess Yankees Unloaded needs to get bigger. I need that jet that Drake's flying in currently where there's a home theater in it. I think once we're flying around like that, I think I'll be cool with planes.
There you go. So, yeah, it's
But happy birthday to her.
Yes,
that's awesome.
Of course.
Is there anything else, by the way, that we needed to talk about? Because let's talk about tomorrow's game. Because obviously Max Fried, you mentioned Bassett. He's the right-hander. Good news, again, was delivered to us. Didn't see it, right? It was part of that John Boy interview with Aaron Boone.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Rice is going to play tomorrow. So, all right, cool. He deserves to play.
That's interesting that he said that like in advance like that. I don't know.
It is strange. Very unlike him. But it makes it seem like, I don't know, maybe people can either argue the calculators already knew who was playing tomorrow, so technically he knows every day.
Yeah.
Like he may be able to tell us who's playing July 26th. He may just already have a lineup in place, or Aaron Boone could look you right in the face and tell you, no, it's my call. He's going to play. And this matchup is against Max Fried. Now, Max Fried, of course, is still nursing the blister. We don't know the current form of that and how it's looking, how it's feeling. We're going to find out very quickly. He needs to be more sharp. He just does. And these are big starts. Max Fried's been our best starter the whole year. I think this is who we'd want to be pitching tomorrow, if we're all being honest. I have high hope for this game. I think it's going to be somewhat low scoring. It's going to come down to the fundamentals. This is why I was saying I think Jason Dominguez might want to DH tomorrow. Because if he does, in a close game, I'm not sure if I want Jason Dominguez out there in a 2-1 ball game or a low scoring game, which tomorrow technically should be. I don't know. It's interesting.
If Judge was wincing and that's anything, he's DHing tomorrow. So
it's valid.
I feel like
they said no Stanton too. So maybe the DH spot is open. You said Ben Rice could catch. If Ben Rice catches, Wells is not playing well, right? No pun intended.
It is a righty, so maybe Goldschmidt gets another day. So you have Bellinger at first, and then they go with Grisham, Dominguez, and then wait, hold on. They wouldn't need to do that because Judge would be DH. So yeah, maybe just Paul Goldschmidt at first, Ben Rice a catcher, Judge DH, and then you get your 3 outfielders. That's what we'll see. And then I bet you going up against a righty, we see B-Boss tomorrow at third. So
I do not like our room over there at third base.
Well, don't get me started. I mean, like, I don't think there could be a more perfect. I'm going to be real here. I don't think there's been a more perfect stretch than now to show you that, you know what? People out there that think Brian Hayes is just another Oswald Peraza, well, I hate to break it to you. He is a lot better than what we have. Brian Hayes, by the way, I actually was going to bring this up and forgot. He's not doing poorly, okay? His last 7 games, he's hitting 308, right? 742 OPS. Last 14, it's 242. 568. Last 28, though, it's 274, 636. He's not amazing, like I said. But his last 28 games, or last 28 days, 20 games, he's batting 274. I mean, I'll take that.
He's an 8-hitter. He's an 8-hitter with platinum glove defense at third base.
Oh, batting average balls in play, 357. So, you know.
Yeah. He's an upgrade. I mean, come on. Is he an upgrade? I understand. People may say, well, I want Suarez or I want this option. I get that. I understand it. But Ke'Bryan Hayes is going to come for, like, you're talking about, I may not have to trade a ton to get this guy. Now, obviously, we talked to Morosi about what that package may look like, and you guys will see that interview tomorrow. It's very interesting. And Peraza's,
good Christ,
his batting average with balls in play is 154. Isn't his batting average like 139?
Yeah, it ain't great.
So it's like, genuinely, he should just stand up at the plate and just not swing.
So, and then you have, because I know some people are wondering if Ryan McMahon is going to be in play.
Okay.
And by the way, I think that's definitely fair because I've been getting that from people. Like, hey, you were against Ryan McMahon because you said he wasn't hitting well, but now you're for Ke'Bryan Hayes, who is nowhere near as good of a hitter as Ryan McMahon. And Ryan
How does McMahon field?
Is a good defensive player. And he, I thought his contract was heavier. $12 million this year, $16 million next year, $16 million after that, and then a free agent in 2028. Has an opt-out in 2026 or 2027 if he gets into the top 5. Oh, no, he doesn't have his 2026. So his 2027 player option is if top 5 in MVP voting for 2025. So
this is a fan right here. Look at this. So mind you, it's a Yankees podcast. First of all, Freed Fan 54, welcome to Yankees Unloaded.
Appreciate
Wanted to
you.
welcome you in. Says, let's go,
Love
Max.
Max Fried.
Please make sure Bellinger's playing tomorrow. Cody Bellinger's playing tomorrow. I know he was limping, so if he's not playing, he's hurt. That would be worse news than anything else we see. Cody, obviously Aaron Judge also wincing, seemed to be hand related, wrist related. We're not exactly sure. I would assume it's wrist. I have no idea, but yeah, correct. Max Fried, we're all rooting for this. This is who, if we could handpick, Rodon's been really good this year, not necessarily in big games. His last start wasn't totally his fault, and Jake, we've covered that. Max Fried, outside of that Dodgers start, yeah, he's been really good all year. This is who we want on the mound. So, yeah, welcome in.
No, we appreciate that. Yeah, it's interesting because it's so early, following the All-Star break, but it looks as though both Hayes and McMahon are starting to take advantage of that break. Like, since they've been back, they're hitting better. Like I said, the batting average, balls in play, 357. McMahon, it's not really the batting average of balls in play. It's more so his last 9 games, he has an 894 OPS. So,
I'm all in on Hayes. You've sold me, and it cannot be the only move. Too. I'm talking Hayes, Bednar.
Well, Hayes and Bednar, to me, this is Todd Frazier and Tommy Kahnle all over again.
Yeah,
that's that move.
These are the musts, and then once those moves are made, we need to turn around and say, what's next? What else can we do? Starting pitcher, is Cam Schlittler the answer? Earlier on, we said no, not long-term, not right this second. He's not. Well, now you need to start looking at Arizona, Merrill Kelly, Zach Gallen, right? There are other options certainly out there, and maybe some options we don't necessarily love, but you got to do multiple things, not 1 or 2. It needs to be 3 or 4 different players swapping into this mix, whether it be in your bullpen, being in your rotation, or at third base. We've got a lot of work to do, and Ryan McMahon is way too expensive for a flyer pickup. He certainly could join a contender and then show you what he's made of. That's absolutely possible.
Yeah.
But are the Yankees under our current construction, in our budget, do you want to spend part of that budget trying this experiment? For me personally, I couldn't be more out. Somebody else, if this works out for him, I'll clap. I'll be happy for Ryan McMahon. I'm way out on this.
I know, I agree. I'm in on Hayes, and I think it has. I think as good of a glove McMahon is, I don't think you would see like crazy jump in improvement at third. Whereas Hayes, I think day one, you're like, what the hell, man? What have we been missing? Like, I think that is literally what it's going to be day one. And then I also think, again, the bat's going to be better. He's 2 years younger. You're getting him at $8 million a year instead of $16 million in the next 2 years. Yeah, I'm with you. I just felt like it was fair because I got DMs. Hey, why were you not for Ryan McMahon, but now you're for Brian Hayes? I agree with you, Gary. Spending 2 times more to have more strikeouts, have a little bit more, have more power for sure. But be a little bit better on base and everything. I just don't think it's worth it.
And both teams, by the way, are in a little package situation. Ryan McMahon is on a team with Bird, right? And some other options out there, bullpen, the Yankees possibly can consider. Same thing in Pittsburgh. You're going to bring in a Hayes. It's not just going to be Hayes. It also could be, you're talking about Bednar in that deal. It's going to take more prospects. We're likely not looking at these third basemen and going to trade for just him in that deal. I just don't think it's going to happen. It's more expensive. There's more volatility. It really takes away our spending power this offseason if you even wanted to. If you want to extend Cody Bellinger, if you want to look at a Kyle Tucker, if you want to look at a third baseman that we can spend money and replenish some talent over there, bringing in McMahon pretty much wipes away some of that. I hate it.
What do you think about Dennis Santana reunion? Because he's...
Nah, that's okay.
Where'd this come from? He was never this on the Yankees. No, I agree with you. If he's like thrown in, I'm okay with it. But he's also a righty. So, I think the Danny Colombe, who I'm not saying his name right, I already know. You don't have to tell me. Getting him, then getting Bednar and Hayes. And if you could throw IKF in there, I feel really good about that. And then, who's the... I don't want to spoil
Dennis Santana is a better option than Johnny Lowe. Johnny Lowe's a spare tire with a nail in it.
Yeah, see, this is a guy that's being talked about a lot. I don't know. I get it. I do get it, but I'm not as high on giving up top prospects for Joe Ryan. I'm just not. Like, I would rather have him than Mitch Keller, but I don't know.
So I'm going to say this. I may surprise you with this. I think Joe Ryan is a future star.
Okay. He's 29.
I think this player, he's 29 years old.
Yeah.
You're not going to acquire players, mind you, right, with 3 years of service time that are 24. They don't exist.
No,
they just don't. Because if they are, it's Paul Skeens and he's not available, right? And I know Joe Ryan's not Paul Skeens, but you guys get the point, is that when guys have high output, there has to be a reason why the team is trading him. Has to be a reason. And the only reason the Twins, who, by the way, the Twins are not a bad organization. They're just not. They can look at this and say, we'll be in contention at some point the next year or 2 or 3, right? And maybe 32-year-old, you mean to tell me Joe Ryan at 32 can't be part of the solution? Certainly he could. And that's part of what makes him more expensive to buy. I cannot believe someone put Charlie Morton on the graphic. If the Yankees sign Charlie Morton, we should all, the entire crew at Yankees Unloaded.
No, not sign. Trade prospects for.
Yeah, yes. Thank you I'm glad you clarified that. Surrender prospects. There's not a prospect we have worth less than this. This is nonsense.
I'm seeing this dude's name everywhere and I don't understand it.
Look at the graphic. Can you look at his fastball run value? I know it's very small, but I'll read it for you guys.
It's 1.
He has the worst fastball in the sport. Are you joking? Are you kidding me?
Let's tease ourselves. Where's
What, find a worse Savant page than that? Are you kidding me?
My God.
And yes, Steve-O, you're right. They probably won't trade Ryan. It's
probably not.
Technically speaking, all of these players who give high, and you're talking about a high level of output, chances are, more times than not, they're just not traded. Some guys are, but the majority, it's just a bunch of hoopla to build up value. And the big time guys, the ones with real value, more times than not, they're traded in the winter. So you're probably right.
There's Nestor Cortez.
Shout out, Nestor.
I saw somebody in the comment section that said they're expecting a return. I don't know. And then who is the other one? Oh,
okay.
Merrill Kelly,
who's 36, much older than I thought he was. He does not look 36.
No, he doesn't look 36. I don't know. I think. do you really see them going rental route? Like if they go, think about it. If they actually push their chips to the table and get a starting pitcher with actual assets, and it's not, keep in mind, there's difference, right? Are you sending actual assets that could be a part of 26 and beyond, or are you sending guys that you have to trade away because they are Rule 5 eligible after the season?
I would probably say we are open for rentals. I have no doubt in my mind the Yankees are open for rentals, but it's what you're surrendering for the rental. The Yankees traded, right, stuff that we really wanted in Michael King, and you turn around and say, yeah, well, the Yankees did that for a rental. It was Juan Soto. Juan Soto, yeah, that's a different rental. That's a type of rental who can punch you a ticket into the World Series. That's why we did it. And yeah, we were still somewhat close. I know the World Series went horrible, but when you make it to the World Series, guys, you are close. If we just showed up in the World Series, we maybe are having a different conversation. I like the Seth Lugo idea, but mind you, I did see a trade, by the way, in the comment section, and it was from Tyler here. He says a Ryan and Duran trade would be great. Yeah, if the Yankees can make that trade, I think in that situation, that's where you get into Spencer Jones territory.
Oh,
that's where you are. Yeah.
That Yankee was traded for Joey Gallo.
You're talking about a solution in the bullpen. Yeah. You're talking about a solution in the bullpen. Yankees have a problem in the bullpen. Okay, great. We solved that. Also, there are a lot of folks, Jake, we cannot ignore them, in our comment section saying, hold on a second. And mind you, and he obviously missed it, big picture guys in the comments is saying Schlittler an answer. No, earlier we said he is not in the short term. He is not an answer right now. So, having said that,
he is, because he's literally a part of the rotation. But
no, he is. But
stuff. That's
no, but that's what I mean by short term. He's not an answer through the end of 2025. He's not, because when we say is he the answer, we're really telling you we're really asking, is he good enough where you don't have to fix this at the deadline? That's what people really need to know. Do we have to solve this? Well, when you go get a Ryan and Duran in a trade, yeah, Spencer Jones, you're gone, right? Other players, maybe a Will Warren, you're gone. Maybe a Ben Hess, you're gone. And you look up, you're going to have to create a ton of value to make a trade like that happen. And I love when people put together trades. I love it. No, all good, big picture. Totally understandable.
Christopher, I'll tell you right now, there's no way the Reds are trading this guy. No chance.
26 years old, huh?
It
is a little weird, by the way, being 31 and looking up and seeing 26-year-old athletes and looking at the NBA, and there's like 20-year-olds out there. I'm like 20 years old
for like 5 years without this dude being.
I was in junior
earth.
High, and you weren't even born, and now you're on the big stage. It's embarrassing.
It is.
It's embarrassing. Funny. And Alex Reyes, welcome in. Thank you for the 2. Says we got 2 infield problems. Just refresh next year. So he's essentially saying we're not contenders, right? The Yankees shouldn't buy. I don't agree with this. But I do think, to some degree, the Yankees are going to be timid based on the team. But also, you can argue this as well, Jake. We don't have a great team, and there's plenty of reason if we just look at ourselves, why not to be as aggressive? Maybe why just take a step back and try again next year and kind of recoup. But also, and Alex, I'm gonna put some momentum in the opposite direction as well. And this is actually the side of the fence I'm on. You can honestly argue, who's that good in Major League Baseball? The Blue Jays, by the way, are playing better baseball than us on all fronts. We won today, and that's great. But the Blue Jays are playing better ball than us. Are they a great team that you're terrified of if you ran into them in October? Is that a team you think we just can't beat? No. How many teams in the sport right now, in the AL, do you look at them and say they would just completely destroy us? Completely, especially even after an aggressive deadline. There are no teams. There are no great teams. I'm here to tell you right now. So, yeah, my perspective on it, I think you're going to look at Brian Cashman's deadline. We have plenty of holes. The Yankees have to fill a ton of them. And I think they will.
I don't think Jeffrey Springs is an option, but
Jake, Jake is like, huh? Jeffrey Springs sees that in the comments, looks it up, sees the Savant is just ice blue. It's the Titanic. Yeah, I don't think so.
I actually kind of like Detmers if he's coming out of the bullpen. Like I think he'd be a good lefty. He's got good stuff. He misses bats. I think he can get you into trouble when you're spot starting him. But yeah, I like him out of the bullpen. So
cool. Do we know what we want them to put in the comment section, by the way? Because we're not just going to sit here and read Savant pages all day. But
we're not. That's a bummer.
No, I know. We
jealous
will,
of Charlie Morton's 41. That's funny. We've done all sorts of deadline ones. So how about this? Just put Superman. Actually, put Fantastic Four in the comments because Fantastic Four is coming out soon. So, yeah. Are you going to see it?
I mean, I have a 1-year-old daughter, so I don't see anything these days.
Oh, that's a bummer.
It's a wash
when it hits TV or whatever.
Yeah, I'll spend $9 on on Superman. It's so ridiculous. It's absolutely unheard of that you have to spend. It should be $1 for me to see a movie on a streaming platform. They're like, no, it's free.
Like, yeah,
it's on YouTube. No, it's on YouTube. No, it isn't. You know what they'll tell you? It's on Hulu. It's on Hulu. I'm like, oh, okay. I rush to Hulu, and now I have to spend money. I'm like, it's not on Hulu if I have to buy it still on Hulu. I don't think what is not understood about this. I don't get it. So mind you guys, if you are just joining us and you're new. I would find that very hard to believe that you're new and you're here an hour and 46 minutes in. But if you are, please make sure you guys subscribe and also encourage other people to do so as well. It helps us get to 10,000 subscribers as fast as possible. We are giving away a Yankees jersey to one lucky winner to be announced live on Yankees Unloaded, just like a show like this. So, and we will, by the way, I said at the very beginning of the show, I want to remind you guys that interview with John Morosi, which was juicy. It's like a 30-minute interview, and he gave us much more in-depth answers that I ever anticipated he would do and gave us more. I just didn't anticipate that. And mind you, he's been on our show before. It was great. So I can't wait for you guys to see that. We're releasing it tomorrow morning. At what time did we agree to?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Eastern time. So for those of you early risers, Pacific time, it'll be up when you wake up. But on the Eastern, make sure you're there at 10 Eastern. We will drop that. It's going to be in better footage. We're not quite in 4K, and we spent all this money on cameras. We don't get to be in 4K. We will be tomorrow for that standalone interview. So, peep that as well. Make sure you hit the 4K tab, subscribe, and of course, Jake, as always, like the video.